Yes, I am in my pyjamas. Excuse me, Ted.
That way. Over there.
Ted, wait. Hi, right, this is a quick video for Pad's mum, who's struggling with climbing the stairs since he's lost his sight, which is awful, terrible. But the good news is that dogs navigate the world with their nose, so we can help them to develop the new kind of skills they need in order to be able to navigate the world in their new sensory way. So you're going to need a handful of treats, obviously your dog, and a set of stairs. So before we start, what I am going to say is that I noticed the Pad is a Shih Tzu, and Shih Tzus are long-bodied dogs. So going straight up the stairs vertically can be more difficult, especially coming down, because there's just not a lot of room in between each step for them to be able to confidently go down one step at a time. So what I'm going to encourage you to do is teach him how to, excuse me, out of the way, teach him how to kind of zigzag up the stairs. So it just gives him a little bit more, it just makes the whole task a little bit easier. So he's only really having to negotiate one step at a time. And it's going to be new to him. So it's a different kind of muscle memory that he's going to need in order to navigate the stairs effectively. So this is how it's, and I've done this several times with other dogs, and it works brilliantly. All we're going to do is we're going to start with a treat on the bottom step, so he doesn't have to climb on anything. So just like this. Get it, Ted. Okay. There. Okay. We do the same thing again. Good job. Yes. 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 Right, you noticed Ted took a step on the step at that point. Right, so that's what we're looking for. That's our sign that we're progressing. Right, because instead of just taking the treat off the step, he's actually starting to use his front paws to actually get on the step itself, which is perfect. This is what we're looking for. Good job. So if you notice, I'm being very careful about where I place the treat. So I want my progression to be start off at the edge to make it really super easy, and then slowly start working so that he has to actually climb onto the step in order to get the treat. Good job. Good job. Right, and we just want, instead of having him like climb the stairs all in one go, I just want him to literally get used to just stepping on that bottom step confidently and happy. Good job. Like that. There we go. And then we can reset and start again. Good job. Right, and literally the first step to this whole process is just that. So start at the edge, move the treat further and further in towards the step. Good job. And then back off again. Good job. Right, so if your stairs are not shaped like mine, where I've got this nice corner here, which makes it a lot easier to do this, this is what it looks like. So it's the same thing, so I'm going to get Ted on the second step, turn him around, just so it simulates what you would have to do in real life. So again, it's on the edge of the step, a little bit further in, a little bit further in, a little bit further in, yeah, a little bit further in, a little bit further in, a little bit further in. See how he's doing exactly the same thing, but on the next step up. Good job. Nice. Good job. Literally, that's like your first kind of like foundational steps. I would literally just do that for a week. Basically until Pad is starting to feel a lot more confident, literally just getting onto the bottom step. Practice, practice, practice. Little small doses, literally, just little sessions like that. A minute, 2 minutes, and then take a break. Come back to it in a couple of hours, try again. leave it overnight, do it the following day. It's no hurry, you've got all the time in the world to do this. And actually, the slower you go, the better the result you're going to get. It's all about really breaking it down into those little tiny steps where Pad finds it easy enough to actually be able to do it, and then building his confidence from there. So once he's quite happy to getting on, like doing this, if he just happens to do it by himself, fantastic. That means he's kind of got over that fear, and now he's starting to feel a lot more optimistic about the whole situation. And then we can start working on the next step. And the idea is that what we'll do is we'll have treats to bring him up that way, and then in order to get him to the next step, he's going to have kind of zigzag across, so his whole body can get onto each step at a time. This way. Like that, right? So you can see kind of the mechanics of how it works. This way. Yeah, like this, right? So it just makes it a lot easier for dogs with longer bodies that find it a bit difficult to they're going to have to negotiate 2 or 3 1 or 2 steps at a time, which makes the whole task a lot more difficult, because especially when that sensation of they feel like they're going to fall back downstairs if they're a little bit too vertical. So keeping them more the whole body more kind of horizontal and all 4 paws on each step just makes it a bit, breaks it down into easier steps. And I think you'll find we can't make it any easier. And once he finds he's gonna to really, we've got to kind of give him the time and the practice to kind of work out what's going to work for him. How he's going to sensory inputs he's going to need in order to be able to do that successfully. But the nice thing is that because we're using his nose in order to encourage him to do this task, he's going to start getting used to that whole process of transitioning from relying on his eyesight to negotiate to being more conscious about what his nose is telling him. It's very natural and very intuitive for the dog. So it should be relatively easy once the penny drops. It should be relatively easy for him to get used to doing that. And I can tell you from experience that blind dogs tend to do extremely well once they get the hang of it. In a lot of cases, you wouldn't even be able to tell that they'd lost their eyesight, except the odd bumping into things. There are devices that you can use, like halos that kind of fit to the collar, which prevents them from being able to bump into things. It gives them that tactile feedback because they've got this strip of plastic that kind of goes in front of their heads. And that's a whole nother sort of training regime to look at, but it can be very effective. I've certainly used them and they work amazingly. And it's amazing how adaptable dogs are. You've just got to get that first step. That's the most important thing. Once they realise they can do it, then the confidence starts to come. And then they start to use that skill set in lots of other areas. And it makes them feel good. At the end of the day, it gives them a sense of achievement, a sense of accomplishment, and creates an overall much more optimistic kind of view of the situation, which is what really we're after. That sense of optimism that I can do this. Rather, at the moment, he's probably stuck in a crisis where he doesn't feel like there's a way forward. And just tackling this one particular issue is great because it kind of addresses the underlying problem that's going on and should transfer quite easily to every other area when you encounter the problem. So give it a go, see how you get on, let me know if you struggle, give me a ring, I'm available whenever you need me, and let me know how you get on. Good luck.